number 3. What we're going to be focusing on today is the plank and straddle stretch. I believe will be the theme of today's mobility session. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with the plank on the elbows. What I want you to do for this first one is rotate your palms up. Make sure your elbows are outside the shoulders or just underneath the shoulders. Right? Once I assume the position, we're going to be here for just about 30 seconds. Tucking my pelvis, squeezing my butt, squeezing my abs, pushing back through my heels a little bit, and then just constantly checking in on these positions. The second that you are not thinking about engaging the pelvis and the lower back and your core, you will not be any longer. We're going to hold this for about 10 more seconds. All right, flipping it over. If you've watched the last two and you've come to our gym, you know we love hip ups, and now we're going to do some posterior pelvic tilts. I'm going to do just 5 here at the floor, tucking and unraveling or arching the back and flattening the back. And now I'm going to do 10 bridges, still trying to form that same position on the way up. Five more. Remember, I'm trying to lower from the top, 1 vertebrae at a time, kind of just unraveling the spine on the way down, tucking it back up, and back to the top. 2 more. All right, let's go to the half straddle. 1 foot out, we're gonna put it flat, we're gonna put it straight, and then from there, it's gonna rock back, sit back towards my feet, and now we're just gonna hold this, squeezing my quad to keep a little activity there, pushing back on the knee. 30 seconds. Big inhales in through the nose, out through the mouth. About 15 more seconds on this side. Slowly coming up, pulling that leg in, moving it over, switching sides. So foot again is flat and straight. Try to line up this knee and this heel. You don't want this foot too far back. Again, we're back on the elbows, rocking it back towards the feet, 30 seconds. Keep breathing. About 15 more seconds. Squeezing the quad on the straight leg. Okay, back to the middle. Side bridge. So, elbow underneath the shoulder. Make sure you're picking the chest up, pushing that shoulder blade down. Knees, try to line them up as best as you can with this elbow, and the hips are set back a little bit. We're going to do 10 reps, lifting the hips up, and treat it like a hip up or a bridge. Once you get to the top, bring those hips through, tighten your glutes, and then sit slightly back and down, and then we come back up to the top again. This side bridge or half side plank position is something some of you will come back to later in this video. So for right now, we're just going to knock off about 5 more reps. Keep pushing down here, chest up. 1 more. Switching it over. Again, push that elbow down, push the chest up. Let's line this up. And then again, hips up and through for 10. One more. All right. Coming on up. Standing straddle. Do not go as wide as possible to start. Feet straight. Put the hands down at the floor. Once you are here, you can try to go a little wider. And for now, try to keep most of your body weight in the upper body. Meaning I'm not trying to rest back here on my legs and feel like I'm holding myself up here. I'm again using my upper body here for the activity and letting this relax and rest and open up as much as I can. In this standing straddle, we will be here for about another minute. If you get to a point where you feel like your hips are getting below your shoulders, that's when we come down here onto the elbows. Squeeze the quads, lots of breathing. And let's say we got about another 30 seconds from here. Do not force the opening of the hips here. If it feels like it wants to open up a little bit more, that's okay. Let it happen. If it gets to be a little bit too much, a little sketchy, and you gotta come back in, bring it back together, or come all the way down to the floor. Some of these positions, especially if you do them on your own, treat it like you were doing a plank, right? My hands are on the floor, my feet are on the floor, I'm holding it for time. Do it the same way. Check in with the pelvis, keep some tightening through the core. All right, that's gonna be our time there for now. Let's slowly bring it back in. And now, another side plank. So let's go classic side plank, right? Stack the feet, flex the ankles, knees straight, straight line here, elbow under the shoulder. We're gonna pick it up and hold for 30 seconds. Squeeze your butt, rib cage down, and hang. Again, if this is too difficult for some of you out there, you can go back to the side bridge that we were just in before, or also bring a leg up here into this variation, and this acts as a little bit of a kickstand, let's say. 10 more seconds. All right, let's bring it down. Switch it around. Again, stack the feet, flex the ankle, straight leg, elbow under the shoulder. Engage everything and pop it up, 30 seconds. Tuck the pelvis, rib cage down. 20 more seconds, chin in, right? Hips stay high. 15 seconds. 5 more. Down we go. Seated, straddle. Now, bring your feet out as wide as you can. Get your chest up as tall as possible. If you try to get in this position and all we get is this, that means we got to get something underneath you. Maybe it's a stack of books, pillow, plates if you have them at home, anything that's gonna get your butt up at least 4, 5, 6 inches from the floor. And if that's not high enough, then you get a chair that's maybe 18 inches, something that can get you to a position where you can get your legs out relatively wide. They might not have to be as wide as mine, they could be in and you can be higher, that's okay. But we want them straight, toes back, long spine, and then supported by the hands, lead with your chest. This is gonna be a little longer. We're gonna be on this one for 1 minute. At this point, we're just gonna focus on going straight ahead. Big inhale through the nose, breathe into where you have the tension. If you know you have the stretch going on here, in the inner thighs or the hamstrings, but you also have a stretch here going into the back, breathe into that tension. And then on the exhale, that's where you try to relax further forward from there. I'm reaching out with my arms here, but I'm still using them to support this upper body weight, so I'm not just hanging on by my back. 30 more seconds from here. Again, we're just gonna stick with straight forward for now. Toes back, squeeze your quads, push the back of the knee down into the ground. About 10 more seconds. All right, slowly bring it back to the top. Now, what we want to do is kind of go for the side. The first thing we're going to do with that is turn. I'm going to face this leg. This arm is going to come over to support me. And then this arm is going to come over the top, going towards that toe. Short time here, 15 seconds. Don't force it, let gravity do the work and you breathe into the position. 5 more seconds, 1 more inhale. Slowly, we move it back to the top again. Again, I'm going to face this side. Put this hand down. And then slowly reach over and across. Again, let gravity and your breath do the work for you. Again, these are short ones. We'll be here for about 10 more seconds. One more inhale. All right, and let's come back to the top and let's go for another side plank. This time starting on this side. We're going to try is the Copenhagen side plank, and that means there's more of a adductor emphasis and you're using the top leg for support here for the lower half of your body. So this foot would go flat and straight, or also down like this is acceptable, but either way we want that ankle flexed, right? So as I come up, I'm going to bring this knee up towards my chest just so it's off of the ground, right? If this is again a little bit too hard for you, this foot can come down as a little bit of a kickstand again, the outside of the foot, but let's keep this hip flex position. 15 more seconds on this side. So again, Copenhagen side plank, you should probably feel this more on the inner thigh than you would have on the glute when we did the other variation. 5 more seconds. Again, keep pushing down here, lifting up and in on this side. And that's it, switching it over, flip it around. So again, this foot, straight down on the floor, straighten the leg, elbow under the shoulder, and then we are up. 30 seconds here. Squeezing the butt on his back leg. Rib cage down, chin in, down to the floor. 15 more seconds. Keep pulling this up and in. 5 more seconds. All right, down we go. Heading back to some posterior pelvic tilts. So again, we're tucking, lift it up to the top, and we're going to do 10 reps. Five more. All right, flip it over. Going back to half straddle. A little differently this time. Foot's going out the side. Now what happens here for me, when I make this change, that foot comes up, but once I'm there, I usually feel like I gotta open up a little bit wider for this one. So this knee comes out, then we're gonna assume the same position we were in before. 60 seconds for right now, here we go. Squeeze that quad on the straight leg. Keep that toe pulled back and pointed up towards the ceiling. And breathe, relax. About 30 more seconds. Just hang tight. Remember, if it feels like it's too much, back it off, rest a little bit early. About 20 more seconds. Slowly, slowly. Let's bring it in and switch. Same setup. The foot goes out, but again, the toe goes up. We take things a little wider from the other side. And let's go. Settle in 1 minute. Squeeze the quad, activity in the core, and big inhales. We've got about 30 seconds left. Another 15 seconds. Slowly. Bring it back in. All right, straight up plank on the hands. Before we start this off, I'm gonna do 5 cat camels, whatever you know them as. Right, big rounding of the back here. Arch here at the top. That's 3. I'm gonna do 2 more. All right, now, same idea. So we went all the way to here before. We're not going to go that far. But we're going to go from here, give it a little bit of a tuck in the lower back, a little tuck in the upper back, and then place one foot back, put the other foot back, and let's bring them totally together for this. And here we go, 60 seconds. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your abs, hold it. Keep checking in, resetting the position. You have to keep checking in, resetting the position. Is one hip dropping lower than the other? Am I arching the back too much again? About 30 more seconds. Chin in, chest up. Pulling those shoulder blades apart a little bit. About 20 seconds left. Locking back on your knees. 10 more seconds. Okay. Bring your knees down. Flip it over. One more round of pelvic tilts for 10. Again, tucking the pelvis and from the top down, lower 1 vertebrae at a time. Five more. One more time. Nice and slow. Slower. Slower. Okie dokie. One more. We're gonna go right back to standing straddle. Again, let's get it out there this time, hopefully a little wider than last time, pushing back on the knees. Now I definitely feel for me this time, I can go right to the elbows. So I will do that. And now we're gonna accumulate 1 minute right now. Remember, if you gotta get out early, you can walk yourself forward and get down as it gets too hard, or pull those knees in. But otherwise, here we go. Big inhales, guys. Keep breathing. If you feel comfortable and you want to push back into it a little bit more, go for that. About 30 more seconds here. Ten more seconds. All right, start to bring it back up. Get out of it as slowly and as carefully as you need to. All right, I think we're gonna do 2 more. Let's get 2 more in. We're gonna do a little saddle stretch. That's for the quads. This could be a little intense on people's knees, so again, if the pressure on the floor just isn't cutting it for you today, let's just do a classic hip flexor or quad stretch depending on how you get after it. Everyone else settling into the saddle. If you know sitting back here is not going to happen, but you don't have any pain in the knees, let's get some support. Get a ball or some pillows, anything to put underneath your hips so you don't sit as low. Everybody else will be a little bit wider than your hip width. Go a little bit wider, get the feet relatively straight back behind you. And then here we go, 60 seconds. Now once I get in this position, for me, I get a lot of stretching on the top of my foot and in my shins. Not very much happening in the quads. As I've pulled people in the gym, a lot of the times where this happens for people is right here, right over the top of the knee, or maybe just a big stretch to that rectus femoris. So a good one to go back and forth with here on your own is get a foam roller, roll out those quads, get a barbell, even better, and really mash out that big quad tendon there. And then also with a lacrosse ball lying on the floor, just scrubbing right above that kneecap, all where you feel that tension. And then test, retest, come back to this position again and see if it feels that much better once you've addressed some stiffness there. We're gonna be here 15 more seconds. You want to come back on the hands, fingertips, go for it. The one thing I have to always remember, even as I sit down at first, and especially as I go back, the pelvic tuck we were talking about earlier, make sure you tuck your pelvis, make sure you're just not running into the heels of your feet and creating more extension in the back than we want. Let's give it 10 more seconds here, right? We got nothing but time. Okay, walking it back to the front. We're gonna do one more. One final one for the day. Old school classic, the wall split. It fits into our theme for the day. We're gonna do this one for 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Here we go. So for this first, let's say the first minute, right? I'm gonna let the legs open up, flex the ankles, push the backs of the knees into the walls, and flex the quads to do that, right? So we're staying active in this position, right? So again, toes back, lock knees, squeeze quads. Here we go. Once you're there, then we start breathing. Going through our first 30 seconds here, I can feel my general right side stiffness here kind of pulling me down into this position. So I just want to reset myself over just a little bit. And then now for this next 30 seconds, I'm going to put arms overhead. Same thing, stay active, right? Toes back, lock the knees, squeeze the quads. Keep in mind as you bring your arms over your head, don't just pop that rib cage up. Try to keep the rib cage down, back as flat as possible. There'll be a little arch there probably in this position. but do your best to keep the core engaged. Now for the next 30 seconds, I'm just gonna bring my arms back down, but I'm gonna focus on this ankle range of motion. I'm gonna point those toes like a gymnast, and then bring them back, pull the toes back, and point out on the heels. So we got about 45 more seconds overall. About 10 more seconds here with the toes. All right, now final 30 seconds of our 2 minutes. Chill, relax, let gravity do the work, and you hang out. Just breathe. Big inhales through the nose, exhale through the mouth. All right, one more inhale. All right, slowly use your arms and hands, support your legs to bring them back together. Pull the knees in, roll off to one side, get it up. That's a wrap. Thank you for following along. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll put out more videos like this. Thank you.